Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am back with this week's review of WWE NXT, this time for May 23rd, 2012. Okay, we immediately start off the show with a match, Jinder Mahal versus Derek Bateman. Now, William Regal's on commentary with Josh Matthews, and William Regal tells Matthews that he wants Derek Bateman to be more aggressive. And I noticed for a while that's what he's been asking out of most of his NXT stars, to be more aggressive. No with the jokes and no with the funny business, just come on, be serious. Which is kind of funny because first thing William Regal starts doing when he mentions humor is throughout this event he starts telling a bunch of bad jokes, which were just, they weren't funny, but it was funny how bad they were. And he said something very interesting that I really like and shows why I like to watch NXT. NXT, according to Regal, is to prove to the WWE universe that you belong in the WWE. And that, I think, is very true because you have to see if you can perform. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. Well, it does matter, but what matters a little bit more is how you perform. I mean, lots of guys who didn't deserve to win have won, while many excellent performers, just keep, they're the ones who get popular, I think should be popular. This first match was okay, Jinder Mahal versus Derek Bateman. Derek Bateman's plan was to just offense. There's no real plan with Derek Bateman, but for Jinder Mahal, his plan, as always, was to soften up his opponent for the camel clutch, which happened. He got him for the Jinder Mahal won with the camel clutch. Afterwards, we got Showtime, Percy Watson versus Heath Slater. Now, both these guys I really like. I look forward to watching these guys in the ring. William Regal states Watson gets better every week, and I have to agree. Every week I see Showtime Percy Watson, and he gets a little bit better and better. And as long as he keeps competing, he's going to keep getting better and better. With all that experience, it's going to add up, and I believe that he could be a good superstar on either Raw or SmackDown, and I hope he becomes United States champion one day. Same thing with Heath Slater. Heath Slater keeps getting better, and he keeps getting more heat. No one likes him, and even William Regal says the good thing about Heath Slater is that everyone always just wants to punch him in the face. And what I thought was really funny, he calls Slater a ginger git. It's funny, this is the first time I've heard in a while refer anyone as a ginger, aside from when we're talking about Sheamus. And I gotta say, I really do like William Regal's commentary on NXT because he does something that no one has done in a while now. And what I really miss about Jim Ross being on commentary, he puts wrestling psychology back into wrestling. Because some people in the audience just don't get it, and you kind of need someone to explain it to them. And that's what William Regal does. He says, look, when you're in the ring, you need a strategy. And from what I see from these two superstars, this superstar's strategy is this, his strategy on the other hand is that, and we'll see how it goes for both of them. And that's what I really like. William Regal also made this stupid joke. He said when he was a kid he couldn't even spell pro wrestler. Now he are one. And Josh Matthews was just facepalm. Heath Slater, however, William Regal said something about Heath Slater that I believe applies to all, if not most of my NXT favorites, that they still have a long way to go to become really great superstars. However, they're still young, so they do in fact have time to get better. And one thing I do really love about Heath Slater that he does in every match he's in is that beautiful neck breaker. I gotta say, Heath Slater has the best neck breaker I've seen in a while. He just ups and slam, nails the fucker. And wow, I love it. William Regal also implies that Heath Slater and Percy Watson could use a manager, because he says they both need mentors, someone to sort of to teach him all the little intricate tricks of the trade. So I'm like, I guess that's okay, like a manager or something, like a former superstar, to help him out, and I think that's cool. Showtime Percy Watson wins this match with the Persecution. It was a good match. I enjoyed it a lot more than the Derek Bateman one, and and that's all I gotta say about that. Because, like I said before, I love watching Showtime Percy Watson. Heath Slater, I think, is pretty cool too. He's not great, but he's getting there. Eventually, I guess. Anyway, after that, we got a WCW DVD promo, and it just reminded me of something I saw in the Bleacher Report, an article that's saying, is WWE trying to courting Sting by using his image a lot more? I mean, they listed him as #1 as best WCW wrestler, and they also put him in the alumni section of WWE despite never actually being in WWE. And yeah, they're just referencing Sting a lot more lately, and I'm not the only one who's noticed, Some people are starting to think that maybe they're trying to convince Sting to just come to the WWE, even for a little bit. Personally, I would love to see Sting show up as like the SmackDown general manager or the commissioner or something like some sort of authoritative figure, because Sting is, to be honest, Sting is kind of old now. I don't know if he's not 50, he's approaching 50. So I don't know how much he really should be wrestling, or if we really do want to see him wrestle more, because he's already had a string of great matches. I don't know if we, you get my point. Let's continue. Next match, Maxine versus Alicia Fox. One thing I noticed right away, Maxine has new attire. Now, beginning of the match, Maxine and Alicia Fox, they lock up a lot more than I'm used to seeing. It's Alicia Fox. Fox really isn't doing much in this match. Like, she's trying, but she's not getting anything accomplished. To me, Maxine is obviously the better wrestler. And every time Maxine does something, Alicia Fox has to yell like really loud. And seriously, Fox, yelling is not selling. Okay? When you sell a move, you actually have to sell the move. All right? Yelling isn't selling. That goes double for you, Kelly. You can't do shit, Kelly. Run the ropes. Anyway, during the match, what was also funny is during commentary, William Regal kept picking on Josh Matthews, like making fun of him. I just thought it was funny. But eventually, Maxine wins with the Dragon Sleeper with body scissors, which seems to be her finisher, which I think is pretty interesting. You don't see a lot of divas, mastering submission moves, or even one submission move, And Maxine has been winning a lot of matches with this move, and I think it's a good finisher for her. I just think it would be cooler if she gave it a name, because Percy Watson, he named his move the Persecution, and he even got the Showtime Splash, But Maxine, I just really wish she would give a name to that move, because calling it Dragon Sleeper with body scissors, it's kind of a mouthful. After that, we get a Raw recap, because as you know, no one saw Raw, or whatever. I don't care. Well, I saw Raw, so I didn't care about it. Main event. Johnny Curtis and Drew McIntyre versus Ezekiel Jackson and the Great Khali. Now, Ezekiel Jackson and Khali teamed up, I think, last week. So they brought him, apparently, according to commentary, someone, I don't know who, I don't know if it was WWE official or some of the fans on Twitter or whatever, someone liked this team up, so they brought it back one more time. As for Curtis and McIntyre, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I like Johnny Curtis's gimmick because he's all creepy, because he's supposed to be creepy, and it's working. Curtis is really good at pulling off this gimmick, but I do not like watching Johnny Curtis in the ring, mostly because of personal preference. It's not that he's a bad wrestler. He is not a bad wrestler. It's just his in-ring style is to be slow. Is to really slow down the pace of a match. And that's just not what I like to see in a wrestling match. You know, if you're going to go, go. But Johnny Curtis always slows everything down. He wears down his opponent. He takes his time. And that's, like I said, it's not that Johnny Curtis is bad. It's just my personal preference. Drew McIntyre, on the other hand, I like Drew McIntyre. I've liked Drew McIntyre for a long time now. And even William Regal says, you know, the only thing waiting for McIntyre is a great future in the WWE, and it's just a matter of time. And I hope that's true. I really do. What's interesting, though, is that the crowd, from the shots I was getting on NXT, the crowd looks like it could get into the Khali Jackson team up because they really like the whole hand bopping thing with Khali's theme song, whatever. Then they all like almost dancing, almost getting into it. The match was a pretty okay match. It showed there was some good tag teaming between Curtis and McIntyre, some good teamwork, some basic teamwork. They kept switching. They kept holding one guy while the other one attacks. You know, a lot of heel tactics. And I thought it was a pretty good tag match. And Curtis and McIntyre, they know their stuff, you know. That's what I think the match really showed. With Curtis and McIntyre taking out the legs of Khali and Ezekiel Jackson, because they've got some massive upper body strength. So hitting them at the knees brings them down. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. You know, that sort of thing. Even so, Khali and Jackson still just overpowered them. And they win with the Punjabi plunge. Well, Khali did the Punjabi plunge, and that's how they won. And after the match, the commentary implied that these two might become a permanent team. You know, and I'm sort of okay with that because I really do want more tag teams. But at the same time, this really is just the WWE just throwing two guys together. So, I don't know. It's kind of a good thing, kind of, because on the pro, more tag teams. Con, it's just two random dudes. But I'm sure as time goes on, they'll find some way to make a connection. They'll give them a team name or something. But we'll just have to see. Hopefully this just doesn't fall through, because when it comes to tag teams, especially recently, WWE has dropped the ball hard. Prime example, The Awesome Truth. The Awesome Truth could have been the most destructive and unstable and unpredictable tag team since, I don't know, the Ruthless Aggression era. But they broke them up. They dropped the ball. And they had everything. They had a theme song. They had a team entrance music, team name, team finishing maneuver. And yet they broke them up after, 2 months? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Overall, it's a pretty good show. Lots of good wrestling. No storyline that I can see. No backstage segments, no promos. Just a couple of good matches. Good, solid matches. And that's just what I love about NXT.